Larry has to really understand that even though he's playing Muir Island there over on Joe P's side, that negating the with great power will stop a lot of the cycling that he's going to be able to do looking for specific cards.
Yeah, I am stunned to see Larry playing this. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy to see him playing something else. And yeah, I mean, I can tell you that.
You guys can't hear me, eh?
Hey, there you are.
Oh, sweet. Okay, good.
Yeah, Boxcar Willie.
All right.
Are you on the 401 right now, cruising through?
No. Oh, all
Nice
right.
to
Am
hear
I
you,
clear?
Ty. Yeah, yeah.
I was listening to you guys talk for a bit, so I was trying to get caught up here.
For those listening at home, this is Tyler Bertrand, known as the Count. Ty, just to catch you up on the day, Larry is having one of the tournaments of his life. He is playing the GOAT Cadillac, the GOAT Lambo, the GOAT Ferrari, the Speed GOAT, whatever you want to call this. Lots of board control with Ghost Rider and Scarlet Witch. Now, Joe P, and I'd love to hear your opinion in 1 second here, is playing essentially for those at home the Havoc and, of course, the Mephisto. Now, he's using Doppelganger as the regurge card for the with great power to consistently look for either other with great powers or to look for the 3 draw 2s. I know you were playing something similar to this in the Champ of Champs. What do you think about the addition of the with great power?
It's interesting. I think this kind of takes the concept to the extreme, right? And I'm curious to see, like, obviously the top 8, but I'm always a little bit nervous not having things like a negate and that stuff. But I also feel like if you're getting 3 cards around, I don't know how necessary it is to have one anyway, right? So I think that might offset some of the things that the deck doesn't have. But whereas, like, I think my build is a little bit more traditional, but his is like taking the concept to the extreme. I really like it. So I'm curious to see how it plays.
Yeah, it looked like earlier I had seen one match with Joe P and Greg Costa, and it looked like Greg had just ventured essentially too. And what he did was essentially use the with great power to sort of stall out the round, consistently just gurging it through. Obviously, once you get 2, you know you can just essentially keep going. It forced a scenario where Greg kind of like was forced into a concede, which was really unique. Quite nice to see. But what I'm guessing is Joe P here, obviously with his deck not having any negates or anything along those lines, especially with Muir Island, he really has to come out the gates. This is a different style of a speed sort of deck, I think, in my mind.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the speed is, whereas my deck is a lot slower because my deck is designed to take the hits. I think that's the issue with his version, is that he doesn't have the same durability with taking hits. He's got to like get stuff off before he basically runs out of defense and people start steamrolling his character.
Exactly what we actually noticed in his first game. We saw basically where he was starting to just consistently lose characters. Now, of course, he did have a big duping issue in the one game that I had actually seen earlier on. So, that also factored into it. I believe I had seen at least the minimum that he is playing 4 of each of the 3.
I mean, I think that's what you have to do if this is going to be the concept, right? Like, defensively, is he playing any image inducers or anything like that you saw? Like, I'm just curious to see what he's actually doing to protect his heroes other than Mephisto's cannon fodder.
No, I don't even think I saw that in the game. I think he's really just truly trying to play like an old school Overpower kind of
just super aggro
mentality. Right? Yeah, just very aggro, but essentially just using like basic Overpower blockage and things along those lines, like a 6 for a 6.
So what we're waiting on here, guys, is Joe actually split one of his sleeves and didn't have any extras, so he has to re-sleeve the entire deck. Yeah, brutal, totally brutal.
This actually reminds me of a moment when in Ed's tournament where Ed actually accidentally knocked over a beer on Joe's deck. And it was also right before the top 8. And Joe had to essentially wait because Ed then had to go find the cards that were ruined, that he ruined in Joe's deck, and give him new deck protectors. And so it was a whole fiasco. So this isn't new to Joe.
So I think that we're going to have an hour here for the first 2 rounds of the top 8. So for the quarters and the semis. And then the final will be an untimed. So that gives people a little bit more time, which they deserve. They've been playing all day. They're going to be tired. They're going to play a little bit slower and probably want to think a little bit more with their tournament life on the line. And yeah, I'd also like to say that I saw Larry taking a good look at that ring, and have to say, was Larry's deck choice to change from Four Freedoms possibly because he wants a ring?
I could see that being the case. That ring is pretty.
I can only imagine. I think it's time for Larry to finally see what he's made of in the game. The game's finally getting to its point where the level of competition, the level of these tournaments, these are World Series of poker sort of levels to a lot of these players. Like, this means a lot, and Larry is finally coming for the crown, or coming for the ring, as you guys are saying.
Was Larry second seed coming in?
He is, again, phenomenal day by Larry.
Here we go, guys.
So it looks like we're getting into the first hand. Larry pulling all the cards. I did already see the Ghost Rider draw 3. Wow, I already see the Cataclysm draw 3 as well. This is a monster hand by Larry to start off as we speak. Joe P, I don't know if he's going to have the answers. Again, no negates. Larry already starting off with 2 draw 3s. Will Larry have the guts, though, to push right now? Does he understand the deck?
So the interesting thing with Larry is that he's playing any heroes, which actually helps against that type of deck, because the 3 not being able to be used against a battle site actually is a lot easier to defend. So because you're 9 or less.
Absolutely.
So I think, like, if Joe can get land at 3s, he'll make up the cards that Larry's OPDs will give him, but it's, again, he's got to get them through.
Yeah, Larry's
Correct.
got 9 or less and the. So he's got multiple ways to stop
Looks like a penance stare too. Yeah.
Wow!
Oh my god! What a monster!
This is quite the hand Larry has pulled in top 8 to start. I actually don't know if the deck could have pulled a better start in first hand. This is breathtaking.
I'm surprised he placed the penance stare over the draw 3. I guess he's just planning on playing adventuring fairly big.
Yeah, I think with this kind of deck, when you have a draw 3 in your hand and you venture 3, and even if the other player concedes, it's worth it.
I'm just noticing Joe P doesn't have a negate at all.
Correct. Yeah, he's playing Mirror Island, and
no way to stop the draw 3. Okay, in that case, then I can see why Larry's doing what he's doing. But.
And again, with his Mirror Island build, I believe he's also not playing the Banshee as the avoid.
So Larry ventured 4. Joe drew 2 cards, and it appears that he's going to be able to keep them both.
This is interesting.
Larry did not like to see that, but of course Joe had already discarded 2, so it just became even cards. But with Larry with 2 draw 3s.
Probably going to run enough battle.
Professor X, no special cards. Good first card to stop. Penance Stare was a must stop in that particular situation. Of course, venturing 4, this is the moment where if Joe P can pull out this first hand, Larry might be in such a big hole that he might not be able to actually come back from that. But what will it cost Joe P to do?
Joe has the ability to.
Does Larry understand? Here's the moment I was talking about. This is the negate moment. Does he get it?
He can actually get another one with Banshee as well.
Yes, you're right. So he would actually need 2 negates. Okay, so the Joe P concept is in play here now. He has done it. I believe he's actually grabbed another with great power. I believe that's what I saw was drawn. Larry's just didn't get that that's what Joe's deck is linchpinning on.
Yeah, I
But
think
again,
in Larry's case, the what you have to do here is be prepared to take those power card hits. You just can't let those threes through no matter what. That's going to be the thing that makes or breaks the game for you.
a saving grace here too for Larry is his draw 3 power that he has in the game. He knowing that they can't even be stopped in any which way, shape, or form. So he is additionally going to get 4 additional cards over what he has in his hands. He just threw the first one off. That is Lady of the Lake BMG promo of 2023. BMG any character essential from 2023. And he kept all 3. Wow. And he got an opponent discard another negate and the Massive Muscles 7. And he just threw a basic 3 blocked with a 4. And he is making him discard, I believe, Dracula. Oh no, the Banshee. Oh wow. Great play, Larry. Great play. Because then that negate once he plays the next.
Can't see Joe's hand. It looks like he's got a Havoc 3 in his hand, and then with great power and something else. Can't see the rest together.
Yeah. There's the 3. There's the 3. Larry does have the negate, but he also has a power card. Yeah, just play the power card, Larry. Nice and easy. There it is. Just play that. Oh, no.
He's got so many options.
He does. So many good cards in his hand right now. As you can just see the power of Larry's deck right now. He's reading the 3. Picked it up. And there's the power card block.
Absolutely.
Another draw 3. Larry is not messing around. He wants these cards in his hand. He doesn't care if he's duping on a few things. He dupes on the 1 to 9. You got to discard it, Larry. Thank you. And
6. And was that another negate?
Yeah. No, I think it just got put in a different position. So it looks like he kept 2 out of the 3. Larry's doing well here.
Another 3.
Another.
Defending with another 6.
So that's the Mephisto 3 now. Now he's going to have to block it. He's going to block it probably with the other 6, correct?
He's going to need some offense now. He's running out of.
See the Strange Avoid in his hand? Is that what that is on the far left? Or is that the Ghost Rider? Yeah, that's a Strange Avoid, right?
But if he uses the negate now, he may actually lose the round. Because if he negates this now, and he has another with great power in his hand, he is going to be able to now start to cycle through his deck. You must use the power card here, Larry. This is the BMG play of the game. This is the BMG moment of the game.
No, this is 6 months, 6 or less is, I think.
Yeah, he must use something to block this other than the negate. He almost negated though, because now he will have to negate for the with great power, and that should be pretty much with 4 missions moving up. Joe's going to be in a tough place.
Yeah, I think Larry's draw 3 was actually solid. Needed that offense card.
This is the
heavy weapons.
Oh, heavy weapons. Sorry, I thought that was the Massive Muscles. Same strength 7.
Oh,
using Colossus to avoid draw to regain his with great power. Because that's what he had to put on the top of the deck. Yeah. There it is. You already know that's what it is, folks. But Larry does have that negate that he drew in one of his draw 3s, and that's
there you go.
There, folks.
Good job, Larry.
You should have enough to get through.
And this should be a big venture hit right here on Havoc. Looks like the open window. Nope. From his hand. Interesting play. Fair play, though.
I think it's a good play. I mean, Joe could easily take that, and either take it or stop it, and then concede. He knows he can win, and I'd rather Larry take the 1 per deck, use the 6.
Wow, Larry with 2 draw 3s will win with 1 card here. Or does he have 1 in his hand still? Oh, he has 2 card advantage at this moment.
Yeah, it's just a dead team.
So he needed both those draw threes to pull this hand out.
Yeah, I mean, when you give somebody 2 cards, keep them both.
Now, if Joe could somehow start to survive some of this, his deck really hasn't used much other than the Colossus avoid discard. Larry's really used almost all the gas from his deck, minus like a power leech.
Yeah, he's got the anti-hero still, so Webhead will help and that kind of stuff. But beyond that, that's a lot of gas to use up. Joe still
Now,
has his own. Is he running the Colossus discard 3 or the Shadowcat draw 3?
We're unsure at this moment.
Okay.
Of course, with Larry as well, with those any heroes, they are all going to go through as there's 0 negate power on the side of Joe P. And that was easily shown as a huge flaw in a tournament deck, as you just saw, going against a monster A-tier deck like what Larry's playing right now. All those specials coming through, all that power and draw power. It's almost impossible not to play something like a negate.
Even the opponent discards coming from Ghost Rider and Scarlet Witch get really annoying when you don't have at least one negate.
Yeah, board control plus all the big specials. I mean, this game was already leaning towards Larry. I truly think Joe P had one chance in that first round, and Larry drawing that additional negate seemed to be the trump card that he needed.
So Larry's only got 1 power card here, so at least one of those two play.
Well, Joe P is not going to give up. He's going to try to fight this out. Larry is just starting to place out the way this big deck does.
I mean, I feel like Joe's deck always has enough stuff to win with. I think the issue is going to be like how much damage he takes. Right now, I think he's still in good shape. It's just he needs some time right now.
Yeah, the game could easily sway if he could get his mojo flowing there with a couple of those threes and with great power again. Essentially, he could start to maybe kill off some of Larry's characters, and as long as Larry can't venture for the win. Oh, Joe has given him a card.
I didn't see Joe's hand.
I mean, Larry did use the spot on Team OP for Captain Hook, which is the defense of a teamwork. Now, if Joe is not playing any teamworks, I haven't seen too many, he may actually have just held up his Team OP spot for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's when I see someone place that, unless I'm drawing more than one teamwork, I never play teamwork. I just let the spot wither and die.
Yeah, it's so common. It's like, come back to bite you.
Here we go. Larry leading out with a 6 energy, just piling it on. Blocked. Here's Moment 1. Oh, that's Strength Power card coming at him.
Switch.
Oh. Interesting block here. I don't know what he's going to use with the Beyonder here. Maybe the Ninja Adept. Oh no, Bimp.
I did see a Shadowcat draw 3 as the OPD in there.
Okay.
I think that would make more sense when you can draw into more of the 3s. Great powers. I think that's probably the better OPD.
Seems like the reason Mirror Island would be used, correct?
Marcel, do you remember before the Niagara tournament last year when I was deciding between the Brute or Doppelganger from deck?
I do remember that conversation, and I do recall what I said.
Yep. Even had Sean bring the with great powers with. But
I see the power, and I see the power. Question is, with that great power, can he win this game?
Yeah, I had too much trouble defending the team, with it. Taking the negate out is a defensive card, and having to spend so much time playing the with great powers. I will say though, with that deck, I did win some games of playtesting Venture 7 because when you're just able to redraw with great power over and over and over again, it's just ridiculous. Because like with a draw 3, you usually only keep like 2 of the cards, but when one of them's always with great power, it's a lot more likely you get all 3. And here we go, great power.
Previous to that, of course, Larry did use the Ghost Rider discard on the Havoc 9. Now, playing with great power, he must be fishing for something right here, maybe even some more sort of defense. You would have assumed he would have just used Web. Iconic Spider-Man card there. Try to have some sort of lockdown effort, force
Except
Larry into something.
Joe just took a 7 energy with that.
Yeah, so he's desperate for some sort of defense here.
I'm also curious why people go after Mephisto. I think I'd just be mowing down Doppelganger as quickly as possible just to get rid of the card. I mean, I don't see him playing any 6 strength power cards really. Like, be pretty easy to run through them.
I would think it would be kill Doppelganger off. Yeah, I mean, in my version, I at least had the armor, but
Right.
So we got a Spawn 4 coming out here as an attack. Applying the pressure on Mephisto. I don't believe he has a follow-up to that. Oh, the Spawn 4. So that's the 4 intellect. The further text on that is if he used it on the reserve character, which actually might not have been a bad idea here, to be honest with you. He might not have actually known that he could have changed the opponent on that attack. You might have put that on the reserve, letting him have access for the rest of the game. He wouldn't have been able to use that 7 as a defense for Spider-Woman in reserve.
So that 4 is coming as a 5 because of inherent havoc. And I believe that's it. If you're attacking a character with a 7 or 8 energy grid +1, 2.
It's not what it is. I forgot his inherit.
And blocked with a 5. See, now, as I spoke about earlier, that web is just sitting there, and now the actual usage of it is little to none. Larry trying to get some venture on the board here. He needs something.
And that's the problem. Yeah. He needed the defense, right? So we need to play the with power to get the defense.
There's a 6, a second color, and there's the 3. Here we go. Here, let's see if the deck can actually pull something together.
He's going to get another with great power, right? And then.
Yep. So we know that the with great power was on top. Larry just understood right away and conceded.
Nasty when it works. I am curious how many of these card Joe's seems to be drawing a lot of these.
Was that a no activated event?
It is. Wow.
Oh, I see 2.
Can Larry go for the win? I see 2 also.
I think he can go 4 for the win, right? Did he venture 1 or 2 last time? I think it was just the 1.
I only see 1 down there. It's really well. The other
yeah,
one.
I think he can go 4 for the win.
He was already quite up, so yeah, I believe this is probably just for the win here.
He went in the first round.
I don't think Joe's going to be. So yeah, so it'll be 4 for the win, which will let Joe possibly draw 2 cards. Oh, that's no activators, which doesn't do anything, as Larry realized.
Joe's playing. He got 2.
He still has an activator in his hand.
Yeah, he should be discarding.
Yeah, I still have an activator in his hand. I don't know what's going on with that.
Oh, he can play.
Oh, I guess he can play. I haven't played Team Overpower in a while, so I forgot you can place there.
I know, me either. But he discarded the 1, so it had to be something.
Yeah, so he's still down the. I can't see Larry not venturing for the win here. Like, just you're breaking at this point, worst case scenario. So he's probably still up cards.
An Ed Guardian Angel in his hand right now.
I think that's what that is. I think that blue border is that.
Fantastic. Wow. That Havoc card's good too, that one that's placed right now. 7 intellect attack, and I think it's 3 cards you can put back in your opponent's deck, maybe, or how does it work?
I can't remember. I get confused with that one and the wizard one. I think it's you. One of them is you can play a card from the opponent's dead pile, and one is putting cards back. I can't remember what that one does.
So that one
I'll look
is,
it up quick.
yeah, I'm looking it up right now. That is, opponent must sort through draw pile and discard first 3 special cards in the dead pile.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Could you imagine having to go like draw 3, 11, like just chucking all your good cards into the dead pile? I mean, the specials in your
Yeah.
deck are usually pretty good. They're not all deep in chain.
Well, this should be the end of the game with no activators in play. I imagine most of Joe's deck depends upon his activators here for any sort of defense along those lines. Larry, of course, basically having almost a full hand there. 4 cards.
Larry does not have a negate. So Joe has his with great power. So he could, if Larry doesn't attack Doppelganger, which I don't think he's going, there is a chance Joe could pull it back.
And of course, as you aforementioned, there's Ed, who clearly has been with Larry all day. Thanking him very much for helping liquidate some of his cards for his wonderful wife.
Without that battle site, Joe's going to really struggle to defend here.
Big block. That's just a 2 multi. And that is it. Mephisto, that 3 was big.
Larry's got to know now that he's not just going to let Mephisto go unless he's really just straight out of defense. That helps, though.
Okay, so here we go with great power. So this has to be Joe's play, but it is all going to have to come through Havoc at the end of the day. Again, I might have recommended playing the Spider-Man web early, as Doppelganger really wasn't in much trouble. You could have blocked off 2 big cards on spawn there.
Oh, he did, though. He did.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he Angel.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. I saw with great power placed on it. My apologies. Yeah, just reading the Havoc 7 there by Larry.
I think that with great power is just going back to the top of the deck. Second. He does have a Havoc 3 in his hand because he duped it earlier. So if he can get it through on Scarlet Witch, he could start to get things moving. Though Larry does have quite a bit of entry.
The issue is just like the time. I think he's going to lose another character before that happens. Like he's got a chain on Ghost Rider, and I think in 2 turns he's going to lose another hero.
Yeah, he needs to kill Doppelganger.
Yeah, he's absorbing the hits, but he's not really returning them in fire here. So it looks like Larry just keeps touching that no activator event, saying, please remember you can't play any of those. Here we go, Demon Chains. I don't think he's going to follow anything up on it.
He should.
Is Spider-Man still in his hand, or what's the power surge card?
He's got a 7 energy. He should throw it.
He can't throw it.
Sorry, he can't throw 7. I don't know.
Sadly, Ghost Rider does many things, but not throwing 7s is one of them.
I'm always used to having a better character. But...
So it looks like Larry is about to potential. Oh, there it is. The Havoc 3, as you mentioned. And that's the defense he needed for it. Wow.
What's Joe's last card? I didn't see it.
Heavy weapon. It's what he drew. It's
That's what I thought it was.
Oh my gosh, Larry did not venture for the win.
He didn't venture for the win. Oh, wow.
Well, even not venturing for the win, he's still in an advantageous place.
Still in a pretty good spot.
He's got an 8 to a 7 placed. Now, again, with no activators, that was 100% venture for the win moment. But, he's got a really balanced deck. He's got a lot of strength. He drew everything, and the last card he just drew there was the Power Leech. So, we're using your Colossus already on the other side of the table. I think he's only really got the Avoid as a possible block for that.
You said it wasn't on base, so it could be on Shadowcat then.
Yes, I'm assuming that might actually be his Avoid sitting right there, which is the only card in his whole deck that can stop that. Grim Reaper, BMG, Any Hero Essentials 2023. The event still is in the middle of the table, but it is not currently in play. So please, viewers at home, ignore that. Violator is violating his space right now and violating his time frame. Let's get John Leguizamo to the side of the table.
Larry's deck's playing really well for him.
Yeah, he's placing out really nicely. This is exactly what Ferraris do, Lambos do, Cadillacs do. You place it out. And right away, Power Leech is the avoid under Shadow Cat, which I believe it is. He's already reaching for it.
Oh, no, it's under
It is Banshee.
Oh, wow.
He has a Banshee.
So that lands. Oh, that's going to be rough.
No, he has a
Oh, no,
Banshee.
he does.
Oh, he has the Banshee.
It was just the IQ version, so when you're expecting
Not as recognizable,
power
yeah.
surge version.
Yeah.
Now, what Phil is referencing there, people watching at home, is there's two different versions. One does not have an intellect icon. Generally, if they have an option where you don't have an intellect icon, you generally play that version. But some people just don't have all the cards, so they want to play their own cards and play which ones you have. Sorry, did you just see what happened there, gentlemen? Was that a Luck of the Irish?
That was Mephisto 3 that he had to discard. And he played the Shadow 3.
Okay.
And then he discarded Mephisto 3. I don't know if he discarded a second card underneath. I couldn't tell.
Shadow Cat, draw 3. And there we go. Little Red Riding Hood and the Wolfman. It is.
So this is kind of the issue that we were discussing with his deck, right? Now he's feeling the KO pressure, and it's going to be whether or not he has the time to get the cards set up.
Correct. And there's another 4. There's a lot of pressure coming at him. Havoc is really the last linchpin to the deck. Once Havoc is gone, the concept has finalized.
Pretty thin defensively.
He cannot stop this 8.
Will Larry play it? Yeah, here we go. And you should be seeing a handshake relatively soon, folks. You never really want to just quit in a top 8. It's a playoff. You played all day to get there. You really do want to finish the game. But I don't really see a way Joe P can pull this out. His deck is really meant to be.
Yeah, being left with Doppelganger and Spider-Woman is probably not ideal for most that are playing those characters.
No, you're meant to win early with this deck, fast and hard.
Seeing that Larry didn't venture for the win, it does make sense. He would have gone for half.
Larry, generally a conservative player. I could see why, ventures of 4 plus generally are not something he's comfortable with doing. But with this kind of deck, you have to be ready to sort of like press the gas pedal when you have the moments. But Larry also having advantage throughout most of this game seems like he was able to just sort of like coast to the win. He's driving the Ferrari at 80 instead of 100. That's okay. It's still a fast car.
I think where Joe made a mistake was that if Larry didn't venture for the win, I think he should have. I don't think he should be able to play that at all with so much of his defense relying on his battle side.
Yeah, I really do think that the BMG play of the game here was Larry drawing that second negate and being able to sort of shut down the Joe P conceptual idea of the with great power in that first round, and being able to sort of put those 4 missions right on top and sort of put the pressure of the game right away on Joe. Okay, Joe not going down without a fight. The most ugliest Black Widow 2 fighting being thrown across the table. That's probably the face Larry has as he looks at it and blocks. Spell protection.
Ugly one. There's a
And
follow-up.
wow. Yep. Some players use their Sunday finest, and other ones pick other unique power cards. To each their own.
They all do the job.
And of course, being where you're going for the win here, Larry should just be really taking these low power card hits when you're going for the win. It's about venture at this point in time. Here we go. That's Captain Britain 5. It does say that if it lands, that inherent ability for Scarlet Witch no longer applies. I don't know if that would actually come into play in this round. A lot of fighting icons coming from Joe P's side of the table.
Here comes another one, I think, with a 7.
They are offsuits generally, but wow, all in one hand like this. Haymaker.
The issue is, you can play from anything else.
And that's the handshake, folks. Larry is moving to top 4. He saw that pin. He held it in his hand. He wants that pin. Maybe nobody's going to get stopped in his way. Larry, I am now rooting for you. You are playing the GOAT's, one of the GOAT's best decks ever. And I can't wait to see I can't wait to see you possibly in the finals. Any word on who the other finalist top 4 are?
Joe beat Eric Katz. That's the other game that's in.
Okay, so wow, we got a Joe, Larry, and if I believe in their heads-up match earlier in the day, I firmly believe Joe won that over Larry. He was one of the few people that have been able to take.
Larry.
No,
we're gonna have Joe. Joe plays the winner of Dave and Carl.
Okay, so Larry will play the winner of
Josh and Greg.
Okay, and of course, as mentioned before, Josh is the only tournament winner left in the top 8. So if he gets knocked out, there will be a new champion crowned today here at OKC.